Shopify grows with your business no matter how far or big you grow. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Shopify is there to help you grow. Whether you're selling your fans' next favorite shirt or an exclusive piece of podcast merch, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to grow your business no matter what stage you're in.
This is The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. Running is kind of like baking a cake. There are lots of recipes, lots of ways to do it right, but we tend to see a lot of the same ingredients over and over again. If you're trying to get faster or stronger or just better at running, just like baking a cake, there are lots of recipes. Having a plan or a schedule will certainly help you get there, and if you have a coach, he or she can make most of the decisions for you. But sometimes, if left to our own devices, we just wing it. In our natural impatience to get better more quickly, we throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. Maybe you see this cool new speed workout on YouTube, so you add that to the mix. And then there's that group tempo run that you've always wanted to join. And of course, more running makes you a better runner, so let's bump up the mileage, tack on another running day, and watch the progress flow. Sadly, this is probably the worst recipe for improving your running. In fact, changing and adding too many things at once is the quickest path to fatigue, plateaus, burning out, and injury. So what's a better way? Let's find out. Welcome to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic, and my mission is to help you improve your running, your mindset, and your life with science-backed training and plant-based nutrition. On today's show, I'm going to go over the simple ingredients that all runners can use to get better at running and how to put them together so that you can improve safely and happily. You'll learn the 3-lever concept, how these variables affect your training, and how to know when it's time to pull the next lever. At the end of the episode, you'll understand how the 3 levers are really the 3 pillars of a solid training plan and how to use them in creating your own training plan. Of course, if you'd rather not create your own plan, I've got you. I've created thousands of custom training plans for runners just like you to help them reach goals they never thought possible. Fall racing season will be here before you know it, so get your custom plan made just for you today. Head to theplantedrunner.com/plans to learn more. That's theplantedrunner.com/plans. Don't forget to stay tuned all the way to the end of the episode for another Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. When I design a training plan for an endurance athlete, I consider 3 basic components. Each of these variables is essential to your fitness as a runner, but the trick is to only change one at a time. Just like in a good science experiment, you want to control as many variables as possible so you know what's working and what isn't. And the other reason that you only want to change one at a time is because your body can only handle so much at once. I like to think of these variables as levers. When an athlete is ready for a change, I'll pull on one at a time. Those 3 levers are frequency, duration, and intensity. I'm going to go over them one by one and explain some common scenarios of when and why you would want to pull on each lever and when you'll want to leave them alone. The first one is frequency. This is as simple as how often you run. If you only run 1 day a week, adding a second day can make a dramatic difference in your running. But if you run 6 or 7 days a week already, adding in another run is going to have a smaller positive effect on your running and might in fact be too much. Why is increasing your frequency important? Well, because every time you run, you are stimulating your metabolism and your aerobic system. You are subjecting your body's systems to the impact forces of a run more frequently, so they build up stronger, provided you give them enough time to recover. You're also increasing the power of habit. If you run every day at 6 a.m., that becomes an almost unconscious habit, like brushing your teeth. So you're far more likely to stick to your running habit than someone who only runs once or twice a week. So what's the best way to increase your frequency? Well, if you're running 3 miles once a week, you should not simply add on another 3-mile day. That would be doubling the amount of miles you run in a week. Start by trimming your normal run to 1.5 miles or 2 miles, and then add a second day of 1.5 miles or 2 miles. That way, you're not increasing your mileage much or at all, but you're simply increasing your frequency. Once you do that for a few weeks and all goes well, you can add another running day using the same formula without increasing the total weekly mileage. Or you can choose to pull another lever. Frequency is a lever that you should always pull first when you're starting out as a runner. You don't want to go from the couch directly to a speed day at the track or a 20-mile run. Getting used to running nice and easy more often is the best way to safely build up your running fitness. Where people get in trouble with frequency is when they add too many running days and neglect their off days. Many people think more days of running is better, and it can be, up to a point. But even at a slow pace, running is by definition a high-impact sport. If your bones, muscles, tendons, and ligaments aren't toughened up for the pounding, you could be heading right back for the couch. One way to build your aerobic fitness faster while your body gets used to all the running you're doing is to cross-train with a low-impact or no-impact aerobic activity like swimming, aqua jogging, or biking. This is a great way to stay active, recover from your runs, and build your legs and lungs for your next run. Many advanced runners and masters runners have discovered that for them, cross-training is a key part of being a healthy runner. They run less, but they stay injury-free and aerobically fit. After a quick break, I'll go over the next 2 levers and how to use those most effectively. My favorite way to get all my stinky running clothes clean is with Earth Breeze. Earth Breeze Eco Sheet look just like a dryer sheet, but it's ultra concentrated laundry detergent. It eliminates stains and odors while being kind to the planet and your skin. No more ugly, heavy plastic laundry jugs filled with messy blue goo, which we all know is mostly water. Earth Breeze comes in a lightweight cardboard envelope that hardly takes up any space in your laundry room. And they offer flexible subscriptions delivered right to your door for free. If you decide to go back to your old stuff for some reason, you'll get a full refund on your Earth Breeze purchase, no questions asked. My clothes are clean, they smell fresh, and I never have to feel guilty dragging home the big orange jug from the store again. Right now, you can receive 40% off Earth Breeze just by going to earthbreeze.com/plantedrunner. That's earthbreeze.com/plantedrunner to cut out single-use plastic in your laundry room and the landfill. That's 40% off your subscription at earthbreeze.com/plantedrunner.
Hear Her Sports is a podcast for everyone who loves stories by and about women striving to improve and make a difference in their lives. I am your host, Elizabeth Emery, a former professional cyclist. In every episode, I introduce a female athlete or woman in the business of sport through a thoughtful conversation about who they are and the terrific work they're doing. My guests and I explore the glorious and frustrating issues in sports, history, equity, training, nutrition, and so much more. Join us for inspiration, for community, and for love of being a strong, athletic woman.
Welcome back to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. Frequency is the first lever of your training. The second lever is duration. This is how long you run. This is measured in both the distance of each individual run and the number of miles you run per week. So really, this lever is kind of like 2 levers in one. It's a very different experience to run 5 miles 4 days a week with a 15-mile long run on day 5 versus 7 miles 5 days a week. It's the same 35 miles, but not the same training. Let's get into how you can pull on the duration lever in a smart way. Aerobic development happens best at a slow, relaxed pace in the range of 30 to 90 minutes or so. So your goal at first should be to get into the 30 to 90 minute range for all of your runs. Once you get there and you're comfortable with the frequency you run, you can start to build the duration of your long run. Many running experts suggest that your long run should ideally be no longer than 20 to 30% of your weekly mileage. So that means if you run 30 miles a week, your long run is somewhere between 6 and 9 miles. Now, for marathoners, that's not enough weekly mileage or long run distance to prepare well. But marathon training will have more than just duration at play. But this will give you a good start if you're aiming for the shorter distances or if you'd like to work up to training for the marathon. The idea is to have a balance so that your body gets used to longer running. You don't want your long runs to be so long that you're not prepared for them, yet you do want them to be distinctive from the other shorter runs you do during the week so that you can learn to adapt to longer and longer runs once a week. When it comes to your weekly mileage, you might hear the rule of thumb that you should only increase about 10% a week. That can be helpful when you're just starting out, but as you progress to bigger weekly mileage, those numbers can get much too high, much too fast. A better way to increase your mileage safely is to increase a little bit each week for 3 weeks, and then have a down week where you go back down to where you started at week 1. This allows better adaptation of the mileage because it literally gives you a break and it allows time to get comfy with the miles instead of always trying to build and build and build. You should feel a big difference during that down week, and you might learn that your rate of increase was too aggressive. If that's the case, consider a smaller increase the following week, or skip the increase and go back to the same mileage before the down week. On the other hand, if you're feeling fresh and peppy that down week, that's a pretty good indication you're doing everything right. The final lever is intensity or speed. This is the lever that we want to use most sparingly. A little goes a long way, and too much can lead to disaster. What we see most often as running coaches is that new or intermediate runners run too fast most of the time. When you're out of breath on a run, that is not an easy run. Yes, your breathing and heart rate will increase while running easy, but you should be able to talk to a running buddy or sing to the music in your ears. In other words, you should be able to talk just about as easily as I am now. The problem with running at a medium pace all the time is that you're getting out of the aerobic zone, meaning you're not working the primary system for endurance. You're also stealing speed from your designated speed days. So when you show up to finally run fast, you're not recovered enough to do it to your potential. The concept of polarized training is what we're aiming for. That means about 80% of your running is at a super relaxed conversational pace and only 20% gets you out of breath. As a beginner, 20% speed work is probably going to be a bit too much, but you don't have to completely ignore speed until you've built up your aerobic base. My favorite way to introduce speed is with strides. Strides are short 20-second bursts of speed that you add on after an easy run. I did an entire episode on strides in April of 2023, so if you'd like to learn more about their amazing power, be sure to check that one out. There are about as many speed workouts as there are running shoes, so I'm not going to go into the details of all of them today. But to oversimplify things, the goal with speed workouts is to run fast for a certain distance and then either stop, walk, or jog to recover and then repeat. What the rest breaks do is allow your body to run longer at much faster paces than you can all at once. Over time and with proper recovery, you will be able to stretch out those faster paces longer and longer. Some speed workouts are designed to work on your highest gear, and those are called VO2 max or anaerobic training. You will not be able to run very long at these tough paces, and they require full rest breaks in order for you to be able to repeat them. These kinds of workouts help sharpen up your speed at all levels and improve your running economy, making all your runs feel a little easier. Other speed days are designed to build your stamina, which is speed plus endurance. This would be like your classic tempo run, a fartlek, or even a 5K workout where you keep jogging during the rests. And finally, there is a way to bump up the intensity without running fast at all, and that is hill work. You can choose a hill repeat workout, or you can incorporate hills into a slower run. Either way, you're stressing the legs and the lungs whenever you fight gravity, just like a speed session on the flats. The funny thing about speed days is that you don't want to run these too fast either. Yes, you want to work hard and challenge yourself, but it should never be a 100% effort and rarely even a 90% effort. There should always be a little reserve left in the tank at the end of each session. This helps prevent injury, but it also teaches you speed control. After all, speed is not very useful if you can't control it. Each time you pull on one of the levers, frequency, duration, or intensity, you want to be sure that you are allowing enough time for your body to adapt to the change before you pull on another one. That could be a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, depending on your running fitness to start out with. Improving as a runner is an incredibly rewarding experience. When you put in the time, the effort, and the care to plan your runs in a smart way, you will not only get closer and closer to reaching your potential, but you will be on your way to being a runner for life. If you have patience and only pull one of the 3 levers at a time, you can build a smart plan to improve and stay injury-free as long as possible. And now it's time for the Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. Today's topic is Break It Down. This is a classic distance runner mind game that helps you turn an overwhelming run into something manageable. Instead of thinking about an entire run at once, break it down into something you can manage. That might be just 1 mile, or it might be to the next mailbox. On the track, it might just be 100 meters. When you zoom in on what you can see right in front of you, you let go of the worry and anxiety of what's to come, and all you have to do is focus on the present. Before you know it, the time has flown by, and you've done better than you could have imagined. Thank you for listening to The Planted Runner, part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Don't forget that you can win free access to one of my Sprint Session masterclasses just for writing an Apple Podcast review. So be sure to write yours right after your run today. Reviews are the #1 way to boost this show's reach, and it's a great way to tell me what you'd like to hear next because I read every single one. Have a great run today.
There is no hood like parenthood. When you meet a fellow parent, you just kind of get each other on a whole nother level. Hi, I'm Kanika Chadda Gupta. I'm a former CNN journalist, mom of 3, including twins, and host of That's Total Mom Sense, the podcast. I interview change makers on their life lessons, legacy, and superpower of intuition, aka their mom sense and dad sense. I've had some pretty amazing parents on my show.
Hey, what's up? I'm Kelly Rowland.
Hi, this is Chelsea Clinton. It's me, Bobby Brown. Can't wait to share my story.
Episodes release every Thursday. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Join my tribe at thatstotalmomsense.com and follow me on Instagram at Kanika Chadda Gupta. I'm thrilled to be on this journey with you.